Hi, I'm Christy Darty and I teach hand lettering and doodling, and today I'm going to share with you one of my very favorite scriptures. This is from Matthew 5:16. We're going to take Let Your Light Shine and we're going to turn it into a piece of art. In this class, I'm going to teach you how to do this lettering. I'm going to show you how to do this background with the watercolor and how to make your lettering pop. We're going to add some shadowing. We're going to add some stitching, some white gel pen. It's going to be fun. Let's get started. Okay, so the items that I love to use for my classes, I like to use an erasable pen. This is by Friction. It is so wonderful. I'll show you some tricks with it in a little bit. I'm going to be using this Mixed Media XL paper. It is 98 pounds and it's a 7 by 10 inches. This is the template. I actually gave you a couple of templates because you might just want to practice the lettering and you might not need a guide for the sun. But I wanted to give you both just so you could have the option. I'm going to be using watercolors. Any watercolors will do. I'm using the brand Pelican. They're great. I love them. They have, they're pretty vibrant. I'll be using graphite paper so we can transfer this image onto the journal. You can use carbon paper or graphite paper. This graphite paper happens to be one that you can actually send through the printer. So you can see in the past, I've printed something out and then just traced it on here. So you can either trace it like I'm going to show you or print it out. I'll also be using some kind of a black pen or paint marker to outline the image. And I love glitter pens, so we may be throwing some glitter on top of this too. I'm also going to be using washi tape to tape around a border around my page. Okay, so I'm going to take this washi tape. If you're not familiar with washi tape, all it is just removable tape. It's usually cute and decorative. You can use it on a lot of different projects, but I'm using it as a resist right now. So I'm just going to tape it on the edge of my page because when I say resist, I want to have clean lines. I want to have clean lines so when I get finished with my artwork, I will have a nice clean edge. So you're just going to put this on here and press it down all the way around. Okay, once that's pressed down, then we can go to the next step, which would be to figure out which template you want to use. And you can see that this is perfect for my journal. This one, you might want to use a bigger journal for, or when you're printing this out, you can change the settings on your printer and print it out smaller. But I'm going to show you how to achieve the look with the sun, but using this. All right, so we want to take our template and we want to, or our carbon paper. And again, this could go through the printer. It's usually a normal size to go through the printer. I've already cut this one for another project. And because it can be used over and over again, which is great. But you want to go ahead and tape this down too, because you don't want it wiggling around on you. This is high quality graphite paper. I've used graphite paper before, or carbon paper before. That is horrible. And it will leave marks on the page when you barely touched it. So I love this one. You could cut this image out if you want to. You don't need to cut it out pretty. I just want to be able to position my letters where I want them. Okay, so I want to kind of make sure I've kind of centered it on the page. I want to make sure that it goes, you know, here's the tape. I don't want my S to go over the side of the tape. I'm going to straighten it up a little bit. It doesn't need to be perfect. The last thing we're worried about is perfection, okay? Trust me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and trace this, but I actually may end up painting over it and needing to trace over the painted area. But I just want to go ahead and get started with this. You can use anything to trace with. I'm just using my erasable pen because I have it handy. Hold this down or tape it down and make sure that you have it on the right side. Now, if you're using different kind of graphite paper, sometimes it's black on both sides, so you just need to know which side transfers. But I'm going to lift this up and just make sure that it's transferring, and you can see, you barely see it, it is transferring. That's what we're going for. Now, what if you want to letter this on your own and you don't need a template? Go for it. That is so much fun. Get creative. If you'll notice here, I did block letters and then I'm lettering some script right here. And what's great actually about tracing it is this is going to help you with your muscle memory, and before long you'll be doing it on your own. So it is actually great to trace in the beginning. And this is, I call these tall and skinny letters. And then we've got script letters here, and these are big and bold, and this is actually brush lettering, because you can see or faux calligraphy, which is fake lettering, fake brush lettering, where we have thick lines and thin lines. See how when I go up, that's a thin line, and when I go down, that's a thick line. You can trace all the way around these if you want on the outside of them, so you'll know exactly where the lines go. But I'll also show you in a little bit how to achieve that look without having to trace it. Okay, now let's take it off and see what happens. How did we do? Perfect. See if you can see that. Oh, it's hard to see, but you can kind of see it. So it's there, and in person I can see it really well. So now I know where I want to put everything. Now, I do have this on here, and I am going to go ahead and paint on top of it, but then I think I'll still be able to see because we're using watercolor. I'm using watercolor today. This is just water that I have in a container. This is a spill-proof container. I love this. And then this is a water brush, and it's just what I have handy, so I'm going to use it. And I love using my spritzer. This is just a mister. It's actually for your hair, or for whatever you want to use it for. It didn't have to be your hair. That's what I got it for in there originally, and then I stole it to use here. But I'm just going to spritz some of the colors that I know I'll be using. I know I'm going to be using yellows and oranges. I'm also going to be using pink and probably red. See if I can turn this around so you can see. I'll switch these so you can see better. There we go. Okay. Are we having fun yet? Yes, I think so. Okay, also if you want to spritz your paper, you could do that. I think I will spritz my paper a little bit. Now, from here, I want you to relax and have fun. Okay? Now, if you're watching me through the first time, I think that's great to watch the class and then go back and do it yourself. But this is the time where it's going to be like therapy. You're just going to relax. Let your hands do whatever they want to do. Do not be critical. Don't worry about where all the lines go. Just have fun. Just let this be fun and relaxing to you. I'm just going to make a circle in the middle here. Now, on my original, I didn't have the circle let me show you. I had the circle a lot bigger, okay? Because I was planning on doing it on a bigger canvas. But we don't need it to be that big. So I'm already dry. So we got to add some more water. Be generous with your water. Okay, and I'm just making a circle here. I'm going to add a little orange to it as well. And I am not worried. I am not worried at all. It's not going to be a perfect circle. If I want a perfect circle, I can get something and trace it. That would be fine. But we're really not going for perfection here. Okay, and so from here, I'm going to go ahead and just start making some lines going out to the side. Just like you would make a sun maybe in preschool. Just like your teacher taught you how to make one. Just relax and have fun with it. Let loose. All right, that's great. And I'm just pulling out more lines here. All right, I'm going to get some of the orange and do the same. I need more water, and I think I'm going to spray more water on my paper. And on my watercolors. It's a great time to get messy with it. And again, don't worry. And I want to tie in some pink here. So I'm going to add pink next. I'm not even worried about cleaning off my brush. This is what it looks like when I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up. You can though, especially if you start getting a lot of brown and stuff, but I'm just going to go right into the pink because I got a lot of that other color off and see how good that looks. Now, our circle is not as prevalent as it was. Let's go back and add to our circle here. Does this look like a hot mess right now? If it does, you're doing it right. We are in the junior high awkward phase, okay? It gets better. It gets better. Just enjoy the process. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Let's add some, this kind of reddish orange color. Let's do that. Watch it bleed. Am I okay with the bleeding? I love it, actually. I love it. So don't be afraid. And you can see I'm not even making my lines perfectly straight. I'm not putting them perfectly next to each other. And I'm going to go back and add, I'm going to spray a little bit more on. Ooh, look at that. Did you see that? It's spreading out. Let me get it closer to the camera. You see how that, oh, so fun. And I can still see my lettering under there. Ooh, I'm going to get some more pink. I love, 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 love. Pink is the color of the year, don't you think? Maybe you're not a pink person. That's okay. Whatever your color is, put it on here. Whatever color you love. Okay, it's looking good. I'm going to clean off my brush a little bit, and I'm going to add some lighter orange in here. Look how I'm just dropping that and just letting it dance. Let it do some dancing. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to add other colors too. I kind of want to add some blue. What if I do that? Let's see what happens. Yep, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. It almost looks kind of greenish blue. But look, no rules. Ooh, that's fun. That turned purple right here because I blended some colors together. And that we still know that's like a sun, right? It also looks like a sunflower, and it wouldn't matter which one it is because both of them is what I'm going for. I'm going for light. Let your light shine. And you know what a sunflower does? What does the sunflower do when the light hits it? Ooh, I'm making some thicker lines now. I'm going to turn my brush to the side a little bit and go out. Ooh, look at that. It chases the sun. It follows the sun. It turns its head wherever the sun is. So you decide, is this a sunflower? Is this a sun? What do you want it to be? I just think it's fun. It's just fun. Okay. I'm going to go back and add some more bright, bright yellow down here. And I'm going to go ahead and start getting rid of the white background. Now, be careful at this point not to mix too many colors together, so you might want to clean off your brush. Look, it's bleeding, but I love it. Just clean off your brush every once in a while. I'm making thicker lines. Again, I really like these thick lines. I am blending some, but I just want to be careful I'm not getting into any browns or grays because that's not what we're going for. Ooh, that's pretty. Let's see how that's blending. Ooh, this is coming down in here. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But I still just want to make sure that we can kind of tell that that's, you know, a circle. But whenever we get to outlining our words and stuff, that'll help. It'll all start to come together. It'll start making sense. Get some of this orange. And just kind of fill in where the white is. I'm trying to get rid of the white. And the yellow is probably what I want to be the most dominant, just me personally, but that doesn't mean that it has to be the most dominant for you. Okay, I'm getting some wider. Still working on getting rid of the, now that's pretty, but I can't do too much more there because it may start turning a little bit gray, and I don't want that. But I do like this, how it's starting to bleed. Ooh, pretty. Okay. I think I'm going to pick up some purple for the first time. I know some of it kind of made purple, but let's make it have purple. It's kind of looking brown now. That's when you stop. That's when you know to stop. I'm going to kind of clean that up a little bit. Now, what if you just get way too much? You're like, oh no, it's never going to dry. You know, all the things. Grab a paper towel and just dab. Or if something you just don't like something, just dab. See how you can pick it up? Picking it up here. And that way I don't have that big puddle there. Maybe I don't like this gray, kind of gray brown. I can pick that up. And sometimes it's just nice because it adds some texture in there. So don't be afraid to add some dabs with paper towels because paper towels make good texture. I love that. I think that's fun. Okay, I still want to go back in and make sure that I finish all these. I want to get all these white edges out. See if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. Much better. There we go. Okay. Let's see over here. I'm going to do this brighter orange. Fill in these white spots there. And then I'm going to go back to my yellow. The yellow is probably my favorite to fill in at the end. Just covering up all the white. And it's going to make a nice clean line to the side when we peel this tape off. You're going to love it. Okay, what do you think? Is that fun? Now, we're just going to let it dry. We want it to dry for a little bit. You can actually help it dry if you have a heat gun. And so let me show you what I mean. Here's a heat gun, and this is just kind of like a hairdryer. You could use a hairdryer too. But a heat gun is used for art if you don't have one. And I originally used it for embossing, but I've used it for so many things since then. Now I can't live without it. Just going to make sure I clean any of the edges that it still has a white. I want that white to be covered. I think that's pretty good. Ooh, it's looking pretty. It's not quite as bad as it was with the junior high phase, right? It's better, but still you might be a little scared. You might be like, I don't know if that looks like anything. Trust the process. Trust the teacher. I'm not going to steer you wrong. Okay, I'm going to let it dry for a little bit, and then we'll get to the next step. I think it would be very satisfying right now to go ahead and take off the tape. What do you think about that? What I would suggest is it has to be completely dry. If not, you're going to risk getting the ink underneath here. And also, the tape is a little bit more slick. So the tape actually might, see I just made a line there. The tape actually might not be dry when everything else is dry. So keep that in mind. I'm cleaning that up. Okay, and now watch this. Ooh, isn't that satisfying? Yes, it is. Okay, and when you pull it at an angle. Just seems to come off better that way. I do have washi tape in my Etsy shop if you're interested. I've designed a lot of different washi tape, and this is one of the collections that has 6 different designs, and it's perfect for this. Okay, there we go. We've got our nice clean lines. We've got our sun or sunflower, whatever you want it to be. And now we're ready to do our lettering. Okay, so let's pretend like you can't see your lettering, or you did this background first and then you're going to do lettering on top, which is perfect. Just make sure it's completely dry. You can take an erasable pen and then you can write whatever you want to write. I am going to write you. Sometimes it's nice to start kind of in a different spot whenever you're tracing. You don't have to start at the top, or whenever you're trying to eyeball where you want something to go. But I'm actually tracing right on top of the lines that this is your, right? Okay, that I already traced earlier. But what I want to show you is if you're practicing and you write that and you're like, oh no, I don't like it. With an erasable pen, it's super easy because not only can you erase it like this, but if you have a heat gun, watch this magic. This is worth just coming to the class right here. This will automatically erase all of your lines if you use an erasable pen. And then it's like, you're not fearful. Oh my gosh, what if I misspell? Oh my goodness, what if it's not spaced out right? I just love an erasable pen. I think it is so forgiving. So that's what this is. I don't need to use an erasable pen now because I can actually see my lines, but you can't see my lines maybe. That's okay. I'm going to take a black pen and go over it. This pen I really love. It's a glaze pen. You might have used jelly rolls before and they're so smooth and everything, but this one's glaze, which means it's like it has a like a film on it, and it's like shiny. It looks wet when it's dry. It's amazing. I love it. So it has like sometimes a little crust on it. You just want to get that off before you get started. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Now I'm writing on my table. Okay, so this is what we're going for right here. I've already transferred it to my paper so I can see the lines, whereas you might not can see them that good, but I can. There's that. Now, at this point, it's still fighting with the background, don't you think? I mean, yeah, the lettering's fun and all, and the background's fun, but together it's like, it's fighting with it just a little bit. It still looks good. But, so if we make these letters bolder, then I think you're going to like it a lot better. So we need to decide, do we want to color in the let with different colors or all one color? What do we want to do there? And then I want to make these downstrokes thicker like this. So, and I probably want to make some of these lines thicker too. So you could either use a thicker marker like a paint pen, like I mentioned in the beginning, or you can use this and thicken your downstrokes. But there's quite a bit to thicken there. So I may go ahead and play around with a paint pen. Now, what I suggest for you to do right now is every time you're doing a project like this and you're not sure what to do next, take a picture. I love taking a picture of each step for several reasons. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture of it because I can look back at it and be like, oh yeah, I liked it better the other way. Or look where it's come, look where it came from this to this. So I recommend that. This is just a painter's paint pen. You know why I'm using it? Because it's the first thing I grabbed. I like it. It's good. And I think I'm going to go ahead. Oh, look at this. Look how bold. I like it. Because we have so much color in the background, I think I want to just go ahead and do black. Now, if you're interested in learning how to do this on the iPad, oh, I teach that too, and I love it. It's so much fun. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Ooh, I love it. Okay, I'm going to keep going now. One thing I'm going to keep in mind here is the E is going to blend in with the L. You're not going to be able to tell them like where they went in and when they begin. So I can either leave a little space in between there, or I can separate it with maybe some white marker later, a white pen or something. So let's see what happens. I'm going to see if I can separate that a little bit. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Where I just left a little bit of space. I keep going with this thick marker and make it all real bold and thick. Well, I'm going to take another picture. Then we can look back. When we get done, we can be like, okay, I like it when we did that or this or that. Okay, next, I'm going to go ahead and just keep going with this. But I'm only doing one line here. I'm not going to thicken these up. I'm thickening up this line, but I'm not going to make it thicker than just one stroke. Does that make sense? It does in my head. Okay, there we go. Now, what I talked about earlier is these downstrokes are thicker. So every time I go down, when you're writing a letter, the S, you're going to go down, making a downstroke. I'm going to make a line next to the downstroke. And then I'm just going to color that in. Okay, I like that. I really like the boldness of it. What do you think? What do you think? Now, the way I made the background is real abstract. It's hard to tell. Maybe it may be hard to tell exactly what it is, but I love it. But if you want it to be more defined, feel free to make it more defined, and you could even now go and do some thin lines. Maybe I'll do some thin lines to show you. Okay, white gel pen is one of my favorite tools, and let me find mine real quick. Oh, here it is. And it does so much for your lettering and your artwork. So every project I try to put black and white on it somewhere. Okay, so let's take a picture of this before we add the white. Where all could we add white? We could add white everywhere. I think it'd be fun to add some back here to the background, even if you wanted to, make this appear a little bit more. Okay, I'm scribbling. I'm going to scribble. Okay, now let me get a piece of paper and do some scribbling to get this thing going, because it's still a little, there we go. It's better. Now I want to do some details in my lettering up here. So I'm just going to see that right there. I might do some stitching around this thing. Imagine that you're sewing around it. You're just doing a little line. You're making stitches. But it is a Uniball Signo. I know a lot of artists, and this is everybody's favorite. So, but then some people are like, it's finicky to me, and I'm like, I know, but it's still worth it. Trust me. Ooh, what do y'all think? Do you like the stitching? I like the stitching. Okay, so let's go down to shine and let's do something with the white as well. We can do that same thing, or we could do something different. How about something different? So I'm going to make a line. Kind of like a teardrop almost. I don't know. And then a dot, dot, dot. Okay, what do you think now? You could go back and add some little highlights right here. The Y, then the U. Okay, make sure you have your picture before you try the shadowing. So I just have a gray marker. This is a Tombow. It just happens to be my favorite because I like the shade of gray. I've had it for a long time. It's N65 if that matters to you, but any gray pen will work. In fact, let's see if it's even dark enough to show up. Okay, when I shadow, I really like for it to be subtle, usually. So let's just see. I'm going to go on the right-hand side. Oh yeah, that's perfect. The right-hand side of my letters, because I'm pretending like my sun's up here, like the real sun is casting a shadow on those letters. So it's going to be on the right-hand side and underneath. I'm just going to go across here and on the right-hand side of the line and under here. And then right here, the right-hand side of this line is over there. Does that make sense? And then let's look at some glitter pens. So these are fabulous. They come in several different colors. What do you think? Love that glitter. I could keep going, but I also think it would be fun to add some glitter lines out here. What should I do with this metallic gold? It's so pretty. Actually, I think going around the sun here, kind of where that white is, would be pretty. There it is. See those metallic marks? They're subtle. but they're so pretty. Okay, what do you think? Are you happy with it? Any more suggestions? If you wanted to, you could just stop right here, or you could keep going. There's a lot of things that you could keep adding to it. And then sometimes we need to walk away. We just need to walk away and go, I'm going to come back later and see if it needs to add anything, because sometimes we go too far. So don't go too far. I think this is a great stopping point. I would love to see what your artwork turned out like. If you post it on social media, tag me and let me know. And let's go back through and look at how we started and where we ended up. Okay, so here we are when I just traced the outline of the letters. And then we started adding and making the letters thicker. This is where it got really bold. And then we started adding the white stitching. Okay, so look at before the stitching and after. Looks better, huh? And then we started adding, shadowing. Now that one's hard to tell on here, but look at the before shadowing. I think it looks really good before. And after, in person, I like it better with the shadowing, but it's hard to tell on the screen. But this is such a good technique for you to do with playing with your artwork, because you're going to look back and see, oh yeah, let's do that next time or not. So if you had fun with this class, I have lots more ideas for you. And these are some different classes that I've taught over the last few years. And you can have access to this vault. And not only in my membership do I show you how to do pretty artwork, but I also show you how to turn it into something else. So for example, we took this piece of art and we also did it on the iPad and printed it out onto magnet paper. So we have such fun. We'd love to have you be a part of our community, or if you just want to be a part of the vault and just get access to some of the classes, you can do that too. Check out all the details in the upcoming emails. Make sure to check your junk mail so you don't miss anything.